Let's go ahead and get started for today, everyone. As I just stated, today we'll be talking about the transition from Excel in industry to Python. Python is the new bad boy in the industry. Um, Everyone, everywhere in the data science fields is utilizing Python for most of their data analytics and for most of their artificial intelligence algorithms. Python is the most flexible of languages, and it is crucial to at least have some knowledge of Python in today's industry. So before we hop into the nitty gritty of Microsoft Excel and Python and how the two can relate and be blended, we'll go ahead and do the introductions of the company so that you can have some background on what Orboltix is. So let's get started. So introduction to Orboltix. So about Robotics provides software engineering and cybersecurity consulting services and exclusive AI-powered software as a service product. Our mission is to develop a future of unity, hope, and serenity for mankind through technology. And at Robotics, we have several products, including the Hip Compex, which is our exclusive video game, the Phobia, which is our exclusive video conferencing application, and also the Goji Apparatus, which is our text. So now let's go ahead and get started. So let's discuss Microsoft Excel in industry. So in industry, Microsoft Excel is the most popular of coding languages. All right. Usually, individuals believe that that Java, C++, or even JavaScript will be the most popular of coding languages. Some would even have the excuse that HTML, CSS are also the most popular of coding languages in industry. But in fact, Microsoft Excel is the most popular. Individuals of all ages are utilizing Microsoft Excel at their companies to do data analytics and also investigate certain questions that they may have on their databases. Okay. And the industry utilizes Microsoft Excel at an exponential rate due to its ease of access and ease of use. With Python and some of the other languages that are out there, a lot of companies, especially those of the older generations, they are not keen on how to get access to Python or how to get access to any of the other coding languages. But with Microsoft Excel, it's very easy to access because it comes installed on your computer already. You just click the application, and then you can open up Microsoft Excel to use it. Now, there is a con to Microsoft Excel. It is not as flexible as the other coding languages that are out there, such as Python or C++ or Java. Even with R, which is a heavy statistical language, it is not as flexible as R. Um, Actually, if I'm to be completely honest, R, if you're doing any major statistics, it is best to use R for those statistics and for your data visualization. But for the purposes of this particular talk, we'll be diving into the universal coding language, which is Python. Okay. So with Microsoft Excel, it is commonly utilized for many statistical purposes. So you can do your data analytics, you can do your data visualization, you can do your data exploration to a minor degree, and also your conditional statements. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive a bit deeper into that for Microsoft Excel. So, and you can also do the following with Python. So with Microsoft Excel, some tactics that you can utilize in regards to statistics would include your regression analysis. So you can do your linear or logistical regression. Remember, your logistical regression has more so of your binary data, and your linear regression has more so of your continuous data. You can also do your clustering analyses. So you can do k-means clustering or hierarchical clustering. The hierarchical clustering is more so your dendrograms, if any of you remember that from biology when you're looking at gene trees and so forth. You can also do classifiers as well, so random forest or support vector machines. For Microsoft Excel, that is good for accuracy tests, and also for Python. Once you get into the artificial intelligence with your neural networks and machine learning algorithms, is good for accuracy tests as well. Okay, so with Microsoft Excel, you can also do a lot of these general statistics methodologies. Now, in terms of data visualization, yeah, so with Microsoft Excel, you can also do your data visualization. So you can make your simple bar charts, you can make a line chart, your dot, Manhattan, pi, dendrograms, etc. Um, Now, is it easier than Python? That will depend on the user. With Python, there are a lot of packages, which we'll discuss soon, that you can utilize for getting that data visualization up and running. Also, with Microsoft Excel, you can do some data exploration as well. However, with Python, it is much, much easier. So exploring the data to determine patterns, anomalies, or junk, it usually includes a bit of data visualization, cleaning, and the use of conditional statements. Now, many of you are probably wondering, what are these conditional statements? Well, in both Python and Microsoft Excel, they have something called an if statement. So it's more of a case. So if something is something, then do something. If not, then don't do that particular something. Those will be your conditional statements in regards to if in this particular case. Now, here you can see some functions. Okay, so functions are triggers to have those particular events happen. So you have your if function. Um, to see how it looks in Microsoft Excel, just imagine if and then your and then parentheses next to it. So the closed tuple, if you all know what the tuple is, the tuple would be the symbol that's right next to the IE here. So that soft, um, you can say like a soft bracket right next to that IE there. That's your tuple. Okay, and even right here by random forest, that's your tuple right there. So you'll put if tuple, and then inside that tuple you'll put your condition. And the same with the rest of these particular functions here. So you have your count if, you have your if error, your if sum, and or and not. Okay. So if you want to have an or statement, you can have or, you can have your tuple, and then from there you can have the details inside of that particular tuple on what you want to happen in that particular condition. Okay. And also there are other functions within Excel. Excel has a plethora of functions. There are other non-conditional functions in there, such as the is blank function. So that determines whether or not a particular cell has data or does not have data. And that's really useful for error catching within Microsoft Excel. So with a lot of coding languages that are out there. Now, Microsoft Excel is classified as a coding language, but for the general coding languages out there like JavaScript or Python or even R, there is automatic error handling depending on the system that you're using. So if you're using like Jupyter or Google Colab, it has that error handling in there. This is blank here can also be utilized as an error handling for Microsoft Excel, because depending on the particular functions that you're utilizing with Microsoft Excel, they can be pretty intense on the system. Okay. So with it being that intense on the systems, you will need these handlers here, such as is blank, to make sure that the system is able to process those particular functions that you call to Microsoft Excel. Okay. So let's go ahead and move forward. So let's take a quick look at some of the functions in Microsoft Excel. So let me go ahead and switch tabs here. Give me just a second. Let's go ahead and switch over to that other one. Yeah, let's switch here. Okay. So now we're at a real life example, because it's very important to see different examples with Excel. So this is actually Google Sheets. Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel, you can pretty much put in the same exact functions and things will work properly. Okay. So here in this particular case, you can see, and it may be small on your screen, so I'll go ahead and click certain sectors. But you can see the is blank function in action here. And this is a real life example utilized for government. So you can see that is blank statement here, and it checks to see if a particular sector of a sheet of a cell has data or not. So right now it's looking for that excess hours sector here to see if it has a value or not. Okay, and if it does have a value, then it'll go ahead and trigger and provide us with the data in the particular cells here. Okay. So that's essentially how the is blank will work. And then you can put it in a array formula, okay? And then you can have your if statement inside. So logical expression, value if true, okay? And then if you want, you can have a value if it's false, okay? And then you can put where you want it to trigger at. So like for example here, I have the if statement. I have the is blank to check for error catching. And then you can put your end yielded result here. So right now it's getting all of those total excess hours for workers. Okay. So that's just a quick example. I know that we're getting short on time, but that's just a quick example of the is blank in action on Microsoft Excel. And there are others in here as well, such as the sum if. So you can take a sum of everything here. So it has the range. So here you can see the function, for example, here. It has the range, the criterion, and also the sum range. Okay. So here the sum range will be B4 through B100 on the sheet here. Let's go ahead and scroll over to B4 through B100. So it'll take everything from here all the way down to B100. And that's actually taking everything for that company 3 that you see there. Okay. So let's go, let's see, where were we? Let's go here. And you can also see a bit more like the criterion and things of that nature here for the sum if. So the criterion will be J3. J3 is company 3. So it's looking for everything with company 3 there and taking all the intelligence from, let's go back here, from the total excess here and getting all the sum of all those numbers here and B in the B3 from B3 and onwards. Okay, so it's taking the sum of all those numbers that are equal to the company 3 and onwards. Okay, so that's just a quick Excel example. So let's go back to the primary presentation and let's move over to Python. This is what you all were waiting for, the Python. So here's Python in industry, okay? So as mentioned previously, Python is the universal programming language. It has a high plasticity and can be utilized for many purposes. So you won't only utilize Python for your data analytics. You can utilize it to build many things, and we'll talk about that at the very end of this particular slide. All right, but in general, in regards to the statistics, you can utilize Python for data analytics, the same things that were discussed in the Excel sector. You can utilize it for the data visualization, your data exploration, where you're cleaning, and you can manipulate the data and even do imputations. So many of you are probably wondering, what are the data imputations? So usually, if you have a data set and you have a whole bunch of missing data values, you're like, how can I resolve these data values? What you do is go ahead and impute that particular data. So there are lots of functions and packages out there that you can utilize with Python to impute it. But in general, what it will do is replace those missing values with a 0, or you can provide it with a certain type of value that you want to put into that particular data set to impute. Okay, so you can either have the base default imputation, which will be those zeros, or you can set the particular integers that you want to be there for the imputation. Okay. And also with Python, it is major, absolutely major for machine learning, deep learning, generative adversarial networks, commonly known as GANs, learning language models, and also GPTs such as ChatGPT and some of the other what they're popularly called AI systems that are out there. Now, all of this stuff here that I just mentioned, the machine learning, deep learning, even most of the analytics that was discussed, most of this does fall under the umbrella of artificial intelligence. So you're probably hearing everywhere, oh, this is AI, this is AI, this is AI. A lot of people are throwing this term around without truly understanding what it is, and without even saying what part of AI it is. So it's always crucial to get the details when folks are talking about artificial intelligence, because it's an umbrella term. It covers so much. Okay, so when you hear AI, don't just think of, oh, look, a robot or things of that nature. You want to think about the nitty gritty. You want to know which particular part of artificial intelligence someone is talking about. Okay. And also, to move on with Python, you can also engineer software, you can do database management, exploration, and much more. And what are some applications for Python programming? Well, as mentioned previously, you can do the software engineering, you can do game development, of course, the data analytics and machine and deep learning, and also web development. Um, if you all didn't know, Instagram was built with Python. They actually utilized the Django framework, Python Django framework, to build Instagram. So that's a very popular app that was built utilizing the beautiful Python. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. So let's discuss some of the tactics for Python. So with Python, it can pretty much do a lot of the same things that Excel can do, except faster, quicker, and it's a bit more fluid than Excel, especially once you get the hang of the coding. Okay, so you can still do your regression analyses, your clustering, your classifiers, and all of that. However, you will need to use special packages in order to get it done to the best degree. So scikit-learn, this is actually a popular package that's used for a lot of machine and deep learning algorithms. Even for some learning language models out there, scikit-learn is utilized. TensorFlow, oh man, TensorFlow. So this was created by Google, TensorFlow. And essentially with TensorFlow, you can use this for object detection and image detection algorithms, and a lot of that stuff also relies heavily on the analytics. So these are two major packages that you can utilize um, for any of your statistics that you're doing when you're using Python. And to import a package, we'll go over that soon. I know we only have 6 minutes, but to import a package, simply what you would do is say import, let's say scikit-learn as you can put Sci. You can give it any nickname that you want. Okay. And you can also do the data visualization as discussed previously with Python. You can use matplotlib.pyplot, and you can also utilize Seaborn. These are popular packages in the Python environment that you can utilize to visualize your data. Data visualization is one of the most important uh, tactics to use in this day and age. If you just show someone numbers, they probably won't understand. But if you show them the actual figures, then they'll truly understand what they're looking at. Okay. So let's go over the data exploration. So for data exploration with Python, now the explanation is the same as when discussed with Microsoft Excel. However, it can also be done with pandas or numpy packages with Python. Okay, so pandas is probably one of the most popular packages in Python for exploring your data, for cleaning your data, and for filtering through your data. Okay. Now, if you want a more raw experience, if you want an experience that will provide you with your matrices and things of that nature, what you would do is utilize NumPy. NumPy is a very beautiful package for getting those matrices of data. And actually, when you're utilizing scikit-learn and you want to build a particular type of neural network, let's say you want to do a linear regression analysis, and you want to train your data, you want to test your data, and then split your data. You want to utilize that NumPy package to turn the data into that matrix format so that the system will be able to easily read it. With pandas, this is more so to get you that Excel format where you can see those tables, where you can see everything lined up beautifully. So that's what pandas will be for. And here's another good part about pandas. When you're utilizing that pandas package, essentially what it will do is take in some of those matrices or arrays from NumPy, and it can convert those matrices and arrays into what we call a data frame, or in simpler terms, a table. So pandas can handle the NumPy formatted arrays or data and convert them into data frames, or tables, as what is commonly known as. Okay. And Python also has the conditional statements. So it has the if, elif, else. So you can say if something, then do something. Or you can do if something, elif something, else do something. All right. And there's also the try except. So you can try a particular function, or you can try a particular algorithm. And if it doesn't work, you can either leave it blank after the except, or you can add in a condition after the except. If you want to do the try except with a finally, you can do that as well. So it'll be a try except finally. The finally will always happen, no matter if there's a try or if there's an except. That finally will always happen. Or you can do a while loop. Some examples out there will say if a particular integer is less than another integer, then keep adding integers and until that while condition is no longer met. For loops, for example, will loop through data until a particular condition is met. So you can say for x in the range of, let's say, 0 to 10, do something, and it'll do something that 0 to 10 times. Okay. And no, Excel can also do for loops, but it can only do it with what's called VBA or macros. So me personally, I don't like messing with that stuff because it takes too long. With Python, you can just go in, make your if statement, do your for loops and everything, and be done with it just like that. But with Excel, there's a whole bunch of extra steps that you have to take, and that's what makes Excel not really preferred for a lot of engineers out there. Okay. So let's go ahead and move forward. So let's take a quick look at some of the Python functions. So let's reconnect here, and let's share this tab instead. Okay, so we're going to go over some of this stuff here. So if you can see here, you can see that you can import the packages. So you can import pandas as PD. Okay. And PD is just a nickname. All right. So you can name it anything. You can say pickle, you can say apple, you can say tomato. You can put anything here as panda's nickname. All right. And then what you can do, if let's say you want to create a data frame. So that's that beautiful table that you see here. If you want to create that particular data frame with data, you can create your own lists and import that data. Or let's say you're dealing with data from your job, and they send you a comma separated value file. That is also known as a CSV file. If you receive a CSV file, now note, any Excel file can be converted into a CSV file. Okay, so you can take the Excel file with all the data in it. You can save it. You can choose the type to save it as. You can save it as particularly a CSV file. Once you save the Excel file with all your data as a CSV file, I would say to make sure that all your columns are named and things of that nature. Import it into what we call pandas. So that's what we just imported here, and you can import it into a data frame. So it'll be like pd.csv, and then you'll put your data inside of there from the import. Okay, so that CSV file. In many cases, you will have to have that CSV file saved locally, and you can just put the name of the CSV file inside of the function in order to import that data. Okay. But in this particular example, we'll go over something more raw. So this is where you will create a list, and then you will import that particular data. Okay, so many of you are probably wondering with Python, hey, what is a list? So a list is anything that you put into brackets like this, and then you separate it by commas inside of that particular brackets. So you can have what we call strings. That's just simple text with quotations around it. You can also have integers there, so just simple numbers inside of that particular list. And what we have is in this particular list here is apple, banana, orange, pomegranates, apple. We have fruits here. And in the second list here, we have beverages. You're probably wondering, why is there an equal sign here and why is there a value name? So with Python, one way that you can really handle a lot of data is by giving it a value, giving it a name. And you can do that easily by just putting the name that you want, the equal sign, and whatever that particular algorithm is, or list, or dictionary right here. So I just mentioned dictionary. Let's go ahead and go over what a dictionary is. So a dictionary will be with the curly brackets. So you have that curly brackets and what is called a key value pair. Okay. So your key will be fruits, for example, here, and your value will be that particular list. So like that first list here with the apple, banana, orange, pomegranate, etc. Same with beverages. Beverages is the key. The value is other lists. So you have the juice, tea, soda, etc. All right. And that'll be our data. Okay. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and throw it into that data frame. All right. So you can do PD. That's the pandas package that we imported previously. Dot data frame. And you can throw that data right into here. And then if you want to output it, you can either put print frame or you can just write frame here, control enter, and then everything will appear here. Okay. And this is how you will really deal with the function. So the function here will be data frame. So you use that data frame function to create this. Okay. And for this next part, this will actually be the next sector of the presentation. So let me go ahead and introduce that first. So this will be blending Excel with Python. All right. So we're going to go over some brief discussion points right quick. I know we're a little past, but I'll make this expeditious. All right. So let's go over the data visualization and VLOOKUP with Excel versus that with pandas. Okay. So let's go back. Okay. So here, what you can see is the creation of a figure. Okay. And here we're going to import something called matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Okay. And essentially what you have is the PLT or the pyplot calling a function called scatter. Okay. So the scatter function here is creating what we call a scatter plot. And essentially you can choose any column from the data frame here and create a figure or scatter plot with it. So right now we're choosing the fruits and we're choosing the beverages. Right now we just want to see, which fruits are associated with a particular type of beverage. So the apples has the apple juice and also the apple smoothie. Here you can see the bananas just has a tea, the oranges just has a soda, and the pomegranates just have a smoothie. Okay. So now let's go ahead and scroll down and look at how you can explore the data with Python. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and look at the Excel iteration of this afterwards, so you can see the difference between the figure and the Excel iteration. All right. So just to go over this quickly, some ways that you can explore the data will be by row. So you can use what's called the lock function. And then you can do what's called zero indexing. So zero indexing essentially means that you're you're sifting through the data by 0. So 0 in that case would be considered 1. 1 would be considered 2. 3 will be considered or 2 will be considered 3, and so forth. So that's 0 indexing. So let me go ahead and block all of this out. Let's see, how do you quick comment on 1 second? Okay, yeah, that's good. So let's go ahead and do this. And here you can see that it's getting the rows 0 to 1. Okay, so it's getting the rows 0 to 1. Let's say I put this as a 4. Here's getting the rows 0 to 4. So that's some of the forms of the 0 indexing. All right, so let's go ahead and go back. And let's say we want to just get the column. Let's do this here. It's pop-ups. Okay, so now you can see the fruits column. And let's say that you just want to get the beverages column. You do the same thing with beverages. And if you want to get by column value, you can do this here. You can put an index here for the 0. So remember, that'll be 1. 0 is 1 in that case. You see here where it says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 0 will be that first one. So apples here. So let's see how it will look with beverages. So juice. So juice is the first one in beverages. Okay, so that's just a quick way of how you can really sift through your data and explore it. There are other things that you can do for data exploration, such as what we have called for loops and if statements. Here, so this is going to be pretty complex for beginners, but here you'll have what we call an empty list. So that'll be an empty bracket here. You'll then do a for loop. So you have for X. Now you can put anything here. You can put for R, for E, for I. You don't have to put X, but you can have for X in, and then frame beverages will be that column. So for each item in that particular column, then you'll put your if statement. If that particular item is equal to smoothies, then you'll have your condition. Then you take that empty list and you add that particular item to that empty list. And also you can put a print statement. So the print statement will be to print out that particular item. Okay. And then you can print. Here I have the length of that particular list, in case your boss is wondering how many items were in that particular column that went by the name of smoothies. And then you'll get your output here. So it'll print all of them here. So you have 2 smoothies and also that total length of items. All right. And also here, you can see filtering by column. So let's say that you wanted to look at, or filtering by row. Let's say that you want to look at every row that had apples, for example. Okay. What you would do is essentially put that data frame's name, so frame. You'll then put your bracket. So that's the indexing bracket. So the indexing bracket is the same as the list bracket. Okay. So frame, indexing bracket, and then you'll put frame fruits. So that'll be the fruits column equal to apples. Okay. So you'll do that, and then you will go ahead and run that particular code. When you run that code, it'll give you the column fruits and the beverages column. So pretty much everything in that data frame where the row is equal to apples. Okay. And it'll show for beverages, you have juice. It'll also show for beverages, you have the smoothies for apples. Here you have a 0 and a 4. You can easily get rid of that and have it as a 0 and a 1 by using the reset_index function. Okay. So that's a quick explanation of your data exploration and your data cleaning. But let's go back to this figure here so that you can see a difference between that of Python and that of Microsoft Excel. So let's quickly go to Excel because I know that we're a bit over time, and then we will be able to conclude for this particular evening. So let's go ahead and switch over to Excel. Okay. So just as a quick debrief, essentially, when you're in Excel, you can't quickly get a chart that's very pretty, like in Python. Instead, if you have text data like this, it'll give you something flat. You'll have to alter everything to integers in order to get your figure that actually has a beautiful design. Okay. All right. So that's it for the Python to Excel comparison. And let's go ahead and stop sharing the screen here and go back to the other presentation. So with that, that concludes pretty much the blending of Excel and Python. So on this upcoming June, on June the 3rd, we will be having a course that goes over this content to a much greater degree. So we'll be diving deep into Python, all the way from the beginning steps of Python all the way to artificial intelligence. So you'll be able to learn how to build neural networks. You'll be able to learn how to build machine learning algorithms and so forth. But not only that, it's not wise to go into data without having some cybersecurity under your belt. It is always crucial to have some form of cybersecurity under your belt before dabbling with any forms of data. Okay. So we'll also be preparing you for your cybersecurity risk management framework certification. So that will be put under your belt so that you can really dabble with your data without worrying about any attackers. Right now, cyber attacks are at an all-time high from all over the world, especially with small businesses. Cyber attacks are happening from whether it's someone from the UK or Korea or Australia. Um, the cyber attacks are coming through 24/7. So it's always crucial to have some form of a cybersecurity background whenever you're dealing with data. So we'll be preparing you for that cybersecurity risk management framework. We'll let you know of all the legislations and things of that nature that have been passed by Congress and all of the best practices to take to make sure that no attackers are coming into your system to make sure that you're protected and your client is protected. Okay. Okay, so that concludes this week's particular session. We will be having another session on next Monday, and the topic of that session will be posted on Meetup. Please be sure to RSVP for the event once it's posted, so that you can get the best knowledge possible on data science, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed one.